right? So pranayama and this breathing deep is the effort to penetrate, to observe the habits and tendencies, not just the action itself. Take your chair, pat it with a sticky mat. And you need a pile of props. So look, I'm going to be very specific here. You need some kind of crosswise base. It could be made of blankets. It could even be made of bricks because it's going to get padded. Okay. So if I don't have a lot of blankets, right, then I raise things up with bricks and then I pad with a blanket or two. Then I use whatever bolster or big support I've got and I put it on top. So if you had two bolsters, there'd be one on the floor crosswise and one on the floor lengthwise. And I'm going to add a little more height because the basic idea here is, if you see this line, yeah, this line, can you see it? No, this line should connect to this line. It shouldn't be abrupt. So if the support is low, look, couch pillow. I mean, you should be inventive with your furniture. Kathy, you need to, so if you look sideways at your setup, you need a blanket filler. The angle is correct, but when you put any weight on that bolster is gonna, yeah, fold. So get some filler. Chaya, that looks good. Gay, pretty good, but add one blanket filler in between the two bolsters, yes. I can't quite see, Karen, but I suspect you've done this before and it looks okay. That's the ceiling. That's not gonna work. So watch. You can use this strap as to make your feet long in an easy way. Do not tie your legs together. You need some, basically legs running parallel, something like hip width. And again, you can put that strap on your feet. I think I'm going to be out of frame for a second. My feet there. I have to turn this, and you do a back bend with or without animals. Buttocks off the edge of the chair, shoulder tops off the other end. The head should be able to come to this bolster support comfortably, easily. The arms can stretch overhead. And you lengthen those legs carefully. Not everybody's legs, or I should say spine, will be comfortable lengthening straight away. Now, or the arms, right? So you can hang on to the chair with your hands, letting the elbows and shoulders hang off the edge of the chair seat. And you can bend your knees for a bit and breathe. Only stretch the legs when your breath informs you that there is room. That there is no stuck part that's going to get more stuck. So you have these compartments that are functionally and anatomically discrete. Pelvis has certain organs, abdomen, others, chest area, others, throat, others, head, right? And the spine. Each compartment has its own way of interacting with not just the breath itself, but the energy, again, the prana, riding on that breath. Each of these regions of the body has its own inclinations, its own tendencies. These tendencies are such things as body type, blood type, the way you metabolize food, the way you have inherited certain ways. Some people are actually inherited extra organs, or they might be missing, or they might be rearranged. Everybody has their own organization. Study yours. So the places where the breath has a consistent pattern of being sort of stuck or glitching or not being smooth, not being connected, those places. Look at those places. So you can look at the level of the breath itself, the glitch in the breath. You're more than welcome to change your position, retuck the shoulder blades, bend your knees, fold your elbows, stretch them overhead. You have many variations in this pose, right? And you are welcome to them, only with focus, including chaya sitting up if you like, but readjusting that pose is certainly possible. Come out carefully. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. Sit up straight. course, you can put your heels flat on the floor and take your feet about as wide as the chair seat and do small twists to the right, to the left. Just give yourself a little quiet release of that spine. Release of the glitches of your tendencies. And then come out of that chair. And dismantle this complicated prop set up. So if you ask me, those bricks worked okay as a base. You don't really feel them. You just need the height. It's the bolster on top that really counts, and how high it is and how good the support. So you might in fact want your chair, but most of chair nearby, just in case. You want to sit in Upavishta Konasana, a seated wide leg pose. I have no trouble with you sitting on a blanket. If those legs are stiff and have trouble straightening, climb up on a blanket. And that, if you see this little bit of white here, that blanket should be forward enough. You're not just perched on the buttock bones on that blanket. You must be even supported on those thighs on that blanket. Now, the hands resting on it, I'm hoping that you are upright enough, supported enough that you can actually be here comfortably with your hands on your knees or shins or thighs. If this is not sustainable, sit higher, come up higher, more blankets. Stretch your arms and put them down. So this extension is from the spine, from the skull, and they come down onto your shins. So palms or fingers, I kind of feel better on my fingertips. Now I'm pressing down to lift my chest. I'm pushing down from the whole shoulder girdle to lift the chest. A lot of us in doing that pull the chest forward. Pull it forward. You need to stay upright. This seems easier if you're a little flexible. Don't do it. This front wall of the pelvis needs to come to vertical. This front wall. Now, you may not see that because there's some breakfast here, but the pubis and the sternum, this bone here and this bone down at the pelvis should be lined up with each other. And then you stretch tall. So don't push this forward. Stay up. It doesn't matter what shape the buttocks are. Think of the spine under knee. Press your thighs down. Come up through the trunk. Now, this can be difficult in the hips and pelvis, so work with your breath. Breathe, exhale a lot. Turn to your right side. I'm going to turn toward you, but you turn to your right side. Keep looking, and you can feel as much as you can see. This base of the sternum has to be lined up over the pubis. Press your thighs down. Specifically work with your exhalation. Wherever you need working, shoulders, hips, that's generally the places. Come out, go back to the center, breathe normally, and then hands on those shins, draw that spine up, reach out, and then change sides. Go to your left. Go as far as you like, but you're doing it by means of the exhalation. Stretch those legs, point your hamstring straight down, kneecap straight up. Use the legs. So leave the hand in front of you instead of crossing over, and spread those shoulders. These shoulders have to turn before you cross the hand to the actual thigh. Turn the rib cage with your exhalation. Stretch your legs, lift your spine, turn your spine. Excavate. Come out. So you go back to the right and you take the left hand and stretch it up. Keep the right leg, I beg your pardon, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be telling you to do, but I have to mirror you. You stretch your left leg down. You stretch your left arm up. So I'm mirroring you. It's my right arm, but it looks like your left. Stretch your left leg, stretch your left arm, turn. Now you may use that strap or reach out and catch your shin, or better, catch your big toe if you can. Now there's a traffic jam going on, energetic musculoskeletal traffic jam going on pelvically or in the low back. And you can feel it. It's crunchy on the right side, and for some of you, or it's too stretchy on the left side, or the groins, or the hamstrings, or something. Excavate. Don't try to make a bigger pose and then excavate. Stay where you are, where you perceive the trouble. Excavate. I hope you understand that word. You're using it to scour the area of blockage and the obstacle, to clean out the movement so that proper energy can get in and move. And the breath is the driver, the breath, the will, and the senses. So then you proceed deeper into the pose. Use support, catch with 2 hands, catch that foot. This changes the way, once again, you have to interact in that pelvic traffic jam. And you go forward as you are able. Excavate as completely as possible. That means finish the exhalation. Stretch that leg with exhalation. Come up. Sit up straight. Normalize the breath. And in this normalization, you just, those senses are still operating, so use them. Find out what's what just happened. Now let's change sides. It is your right arm that's going up now. Left arm down. Legs stretching. And you turn and you keep that traffic jam as unjammed as possible. Use your breath. Use your senses. Catch the shin or catch the foot or use your strap. I kind of like not having a strap because I get to push down with the hand on the shin or the foot, and that gives me extra space. Now, before you get well and truly stuck, back away from well and truly stuck and breathe. Exhale, clean up. Stretch your legs more with that exhalation. Finish the exhalation so you get through that sacroiliac joint instead of just bumping, crunching up into it. Go through to those toes. Then take 2 hands. Take a deeper inhalation so you can exhale, not necessarily faster, but deeper, more penetrating. You might well pick up speed with that breath. Go faster. It actually, you might say, generates more friction, more scouring. Go as deeply as you can into the pose. Stretch your arms. Stretch your legs. Now, understand what your breath needs to do to help you come up. You've got to be able to stay exhaling and inhaling. Good. You okay? Everybody else? You all right? All right. Good. Stretch your legs. So this is what asana does with prana. This is how asana works in prana. It's not pranayama exactly, but on the other hand, it is pranayama. Exactly, it is the control of the movement of prana for a purpose, right? For the execution of the will, okay? So that involves making sure this brain location has proper prana too. So let's take a setubandha. And again, it's got to be comfy or else it's not going to work in prana terms. If you're working on it anatomically, you're just going to stay working on it anatomically. But if it gets to where you can be steady in it and comfortable in it, you have the chance to go deeper. So you need a lengthwise bolster or spinal support. You probably need a blanket for your head. And it can be quite thin, or it can have a small roll. This is, don't do anything with this yet, just put it here. Then you could use bricks or blankets or an extra sticky mat under those feet. Setubandha, same belt, same attachment around those feet close to the heels, close to the ankle. Your shirt collar has to tuck forward very loose in front because there's a bunch of rolling that's going to go on. So you put your spine down lengthwise and do be centered, not tippy left or right. Support your head. Now is when your shirt stays put and your body starts rolling, coiling off that bolster edge or blanket pile edge. And this time, the shoulders come to the floor. So if you're watching, I'm trying to coil as deeply as my spine will let me. I'm trying to keep those lowermost shoulder blades somehow still touching that bolster. And yet the shoulders are on the floor. And once they're on the floor, I stretch my legs. The heels, doesn't matter what else of that leg, but the heels need to be on the bolster. The arms release out to the sides. And if the wrists, if you see my wrists, if your wrists are jumping up like this, you need to move those shoulders closer to the floor. And if that doesn't work, you have to elevate the wrists. And I'm sorry to say, you might have to actually disturb yourself to go get extra blankets or bricks or something. But the wrist should be relaxed. Okay. And close to the floor in that relaxation. There's a connection between those wrists and the shoulders. If the wrists are elevated, the shoulders are holding tension. So you take care of that blanket. Yours is folded like this right now. One more. Yes. So it's a couple of inches underneath that wrist, not thin, not just barely. Yeah. And what you do to one side, you do to the other, even though there may be only one culprit. So in pranayama, when you're in this formal practice of pranayama, the outer body, in a sense, is disconnected. It's deactivated, not like an asana. The will and the consciousness are not focused on any expression of the self in any way, shape, or form, not just an asana, but also a mood. The consciousness has to slip beneath your physical state, your condition in life. You have to, if you're uncomfortable, you can bend your knees, you can come out. If you are comfy, if comfort involves stretching the legs a little bit or taking some deeper breaths, you could do that, or come out. Make yourself comfy. Relax the face completely. The face is an enormously sensitive reflector of the state of body and mind. The face shows discomfort. The face shows happiness, anger, frustration. It has great nuance. So when you, and it is very close to the mind. So it's like an immediate and intimate reflector. So completely relaxing the face goes a long way to disengaging you from the outer body and letting the attention go in toward where those inclinations lie, not the expression of them, but the inclination itself. So in the pranayamic state, essentially, you need to be able to drop all the external trappings of self. Job, family, relations. Your birthmarks, your hairline, anything, education. So when you let go of that, and then you start using this exhalation to explore and clean and energize. There's fewer obstructions. It doesn't, in fact, matter how deep or penetrating or in how many cubic centimeters of air you draw into the lungs, or whether it takes you 3 seconds or 30. These kinds of things are outer body considerations. If you were to take a 3-second inhalation completely without your activation of self, ego, it would be worth more than a 60-second inhalation done with the ego running the body. The nature of the breath is different. Generally speaking, when you can completely relax the face, relax the expression of self, the breath tends to get easier and deeper. Don't be tempted then to grab hold with your ambition and try to do more. Keep following. In a sense, the meaning of the term ujjayi pranayama, which is this very simple observation of exhalation, inhalation. And we do say prolonging it because that is the thing that happens. It's not the thing you do, what happens. It's named ujjayi, it means victorious. And the victory is over this self. You gain a measure of control of the expression of self. Time to lie flat. So slowly bend your elbows, bend your knees. If the support and your spine are low and happy, you might be able to bend your knees and roll to the side. Otherwise, press your feet down and slide the bolster out from under you, or you slide off it. Now you could, if you like, rest your shins on that bolster or lie flat. Take the last few minutes flat. Or flat-spined. Shavasana. So if good. Watch those wrists here as well. shoulders first, then wrists. So pranayama is meant to allow you to work on your tendencies. Now it is the end of class. You may stay put. You can also sit up if you like. In any case, I say Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you, Devon.
Say hi to Cliff.
See you soon.
See ya.